if I'm like competing against people, like I'll push myself that extra like 25%. It's just an accident. I like being able to beat all the boys in the gym. I can really push myself in the gym because I have that willpower. Working out in the gym is a natural high.
Like every kid here, 15-year-old Lindsay is at risk of dropping out of school. Hard to imagine why, watching her in the gym.
Why would you say you're an at-risk kid?
Because I abuse narcotics, and I'm always just searching for a new kind of adrenaline rush, whether it's drugs or doing risky things.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but that sums up years of doctoral research by this woman.
My name's Cynthia Thompson, and I am a behavioral geneticist.
Scientists have long known the neurotransmitter dopamine plays a role in motivating us to obtain reward and seek sensation. Thompson, a geneticist and outdoor enthusiast, took that research one step further.
I expected that there was something genetic that motivated people to participate in high-risk sports.
She collected DNA samples from extreme skiers and snowboarders and discovered a high percentage of them possess something dubbed the Daredevil gene.
There is a large genetic component to this sensation-seeking trait. They're hardwired for this type of behavior.
Those findings mirror genetic studies of those who seek deviant risks, such as gambling or drugs.
Does that mean then that someone who is injecting heroin and have the same kind of DNA as someone who is jumping off a cliff?
The same variant has been associated with both forms of risk-taking.
While Cynthia Thompson was investigating the Daredevil gene, she was also volunteering here at a program for at-risk kids. The obvious question, if a student is hardwired to seek thrills and on the verge of dropping out, is it possible to steer a kid toward healthy risk?
What would such a classroom look like? Maybe like this.
Okay, let's see what you got, Andy. How about socks? Let me see your socks. I recommend full-length socks, because that could give you a blister.
A program called Take a Hike for grade 10 to 12 students. Set in a regular high school.
Everything in here is pretty waterproof.
But far from the average high school experience.
A lot of people have found school this really painful process, and we're constrained to an extent by the curricula that they need to study. So we're trying to turn up the volume. We're people who are going out to have adventures and do our learning in that way.
Nick Bolding teaches a mixed bag of kids. All have been booted from at least one school. You don't have to hang out long to find out why.
You went for a snack in the middle of class. That's ridiculous behavior.
Nick's seen all types. Poor kids, volatile kids, kids with anxiety, dysfunctional families, ADD, kids into drugs, in trouble with the law, and plenty of them who crave risk.
At least one archetype of student that we get is just like a really either feisty or adventurous risk-taking type student, and school is just not enough. It's too still. They're way more turned on when you talk about motion because you're sliding down a hill and learning about motion than if you tried to explain it on a board.
That's Lindsay, in a nutshell, middle child in a middle-class family, diagnosed with ADD, athletic, but with a growing dislike for school. Last year, she basically flunked grade 9.
High school is bullshit. Sorry for my language. I was in a program for like attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, and stuff like that. I was in like a special needs class. I was really having a hard time with that. I ended up just not doing any work, like barely going to school. I think I had like 230 absences. I smoked weed at school every day, like didn't get any work done, never attended the school. If I attended school, like I was high at school, and otherwise I was not attending and getting high.
As Lindsay puts it, she has a need for speed, whether jumping off cliffs or into stolen cars.
It's just like adrenaline. I love adrenaline. Like definitely hopping into the stolen car wasn't a smart idea. That one backfired.
Can you tell me that story?
Yeah, it was called a Class 5 arrest. I was held at gunpoint for the car, yeah. My friend took this car, and we ended up getting caught in the car, and it was pretty hectic.
Fortunately for her, no charges resulted.
The other reason that we're doing this is because I want you to be able to really engage. I want you to get the sense of what it was like. So especially for Shakespeare's audience.
No wonder Hamlet seems tame,
This is called a glissande. When I go like this.
even when it's spiced up with a fencing lesson.
I got you. She got me here. I'm dead. Nice work, Lindsay.
What do you recommend?
The weight tape, yeah.
That's where the adventures and outdoor activity come in.
If you can recognize that certain kids are just more drawn to seeking out risks in all aspects of their life, well, by encouraging them to seek out risk through a sport, then you may substitute one for the other.
It's like self-accomplishment. When I hit that point where like I can't do this anymore, like I'm exhausted, I just want to like climb back down the mountain, and then you just keep going, and then you hit the top, and it's so worth it. Climbing to the top of a mountain to like talk about like how bubbles come out of water, and like how heat gets transferred from like snow, from your body to snow, and they made it like this so like you'll remember like from experience.
That's why the Take a Hike students go on camping expeditions that last 10 days.
Day 4, the kids are clearer. And then of course day 5, they're a little bit more clear. And then they start to notice. And they're like, you know, when I don't smoke weed every day, when I'm not fighting with my mom all the time, when I'm getting normal amounts of sleep because of the daylight, I feel a lot different. And that plants a seed. That plants a seed with a kid that, you know, their lives could be different. When they're out there, they get upset, they get scared, they get emotional. And there's a good opportunity for the therapist to process with them. So the therapist is out on these trips with them, right? And that's quite powerful, like real combat therapy in the moment.
Yes, he said therapist. Clinical counselors are in class daily, digging deep into students' psyches and emotions.
When you've been in other schools, that's how they see it, is Lindsay doesn't care, she can't focus.
Yeah.
None of this stuff. How much do you think that's true for you?
I don't think it's true. I think I do have a capability of focusing, but I think it does depend on the subject.
If Lindsay needed extra motivation, she could consult Ruben Berge. His high school experience turned around when he found Take a Hike.
I was failing all my classes. I was barely going to school. I had like below 15% in some classes. Even PE, which I love PE, it just didn't appeal to me in the mainstream system.
The kind of guy happy to paddle in below zero weather, now working for a guiding outfit when he isn't riding big waves.
Just hammer straight into the wave, and then once you're in the wave, you can kind of just drop the stern rudder and you can carve the wave back and forth. It's a really cool feeling, just being in that wave. Before Take a Hike, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was older, and after that first trip at Take a Hike, I really started to hone in on what I wanted to do when I finished high school.
Success stories like that have public schools province-wide interested in the Take a Hike model.
In convection,
Science right here.
the water has to be moving.
Problem is cost. It's a hand-to-mouth program run largely on donations.
I know that funding is always an issue, but I think that it's so important to have programs that encourage alternative forms of physical activity for youth, especially today when the physical activity is on the decline.
You see what's happening, and then you just connect the dots.
Risk-taking teens may be intense and difficult, but
The entrepreneurs of the world, the top athletes of the world, they are risk takers. They are adventurous people. You get these guys, you give them the opportunities, they sort a few things out. Often they have to deal with emotional stuff. That's what the therapy's about. But once they've done that, they can soar.
There's like some incredible things I could do. I want to go skydiving. I'm going to jump out of an airplane with the parachute on my back, and I'm going to go bungee jumping off bridges. And I want to go parasailing. You know, when you're not attached to anything, you're just like ripping through the water on waves with just like a kite. I want to do that too.
Is finishing school part of that dream?
Yes. I want to get the F out of school too.
That may just happen in a program well suited to learners hardwired for extreme. Duncan McHugh, CBC News, Vancouver.